with time. So before it's absolutely debilitating, see if you're a candidate for this life-changing regenerative treatment. No painkillers, no surgery, no downtime. QC Kinetics regenerative treatments are sweeping the nation. Patients right here in southeast Wisconsin. They have a location in Mequon and another in Greenfield. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. And if it's easier on your schedule, they're even open on Saturdays. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradenton Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradenton Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian design recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases, and it's free. Stop in today and save now during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock and 6 degrees in Milwaukee. A cold weather advisory goes into effect at 9 o'clock tonight and lasts until noon tomorrow. That's for all of southeastern Wisconsin. Bundle up if you have to be outside. We have a high of just 7 degrees today. Tonight, we'll dip down to 6 below. In the wind chill, the wind's going to make it feel worse. Wind chill, below, negative 15 to negative 25. That's quite the range. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Ty. Representatives from Milwaukee Public Schools must head to court this afternoon after failing to reinstate school resource officers by today's court-mandated deadline.
The National Association of School Resource Officers confirms to WTMJ that as of this morning, no Milwaukee Police Department officer has completed their basic SRO course since August of 2023, and no MPD officers are currently enrolled in the course at any location in Wisconsin or surrounding states. A judge in January had set today as a deadline for the district to re-implement school resource officers in MPS buildings. The district must now appear in court to explain their non-compliance. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
MPS says the district remains ready to implement a school resource officer program as soon as officers are made available. A review of financial irregularities between Milwaukee and the city's housing authority concludes Hackham owes millions of dollars to the city. Milwaukee Comptroller Bill Christensen.
Are there any other outstanding amounts due from Hackham to the city? And the answer is yes. According to a report that we ran on Friday, excluding the pilot payment, there's currently $4.1 million owed to the city by Hackham.
According to our partners at TMJ4, Hackham could be headed towards bankruptcy. Audits show unreconciled cash balances of nearly $3 million every year since 2019. Meanwhile, the organization is still without an executive director after Willie Hines Jr. suddenly retired last year. Conflicting messages in Washington about what information the IRS can be accessed by the Department of Government Efficiency run by Elon Musk. ABC's Mary Ellis Parks.
At one point over the weekend, the White House seemed to confirm that members of Elon Musk's team had accessed this IRS database. It has information there for personal information for millions of Americans. But then the White House seemed to backtrack and say that, in fact, a member of Musk's team with the Department of Government Efficiency had only been onboarded at the IRS, had asked for access, requested it, is expecting to get access to this system.
The IRS is the latest agency to be targeted by DOJ as it seeks to significantly reduce the size of the federal workforce. Here at home, the Sheboygan Area School District says it will not assist in investigations for immigration and customs enforcement. The news comes in the wake of executive orders from the White House. The district superintendent says they're committed to maintaining safe and welcoming schools. Jake Conrath tells the Sheboygan Press they've never been contacted by ICE, and as a district, they'll comply with all student privacy laws. Bitter cold once again gripping southeastern Wisconsin. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore tells Wisconsin's Midday News while wind chills will approach 30 below zero early tomorrow morning. This level of cold is not unheard of for mid-February.
Nothing too crazy for this time of year, just kind of typical February. You can get some of these swings where you get still some cold air that drops out of Canada. I'm really hoping this is our last major cold air outbreak for the winter months.
Some of you keeping your fingers crossed as well. Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in just minutes here. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. It's a quick one. The markets are closed today due to the holiday, President's Day. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
You gotta get to Built Right today. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Built Right furniture, leather, and mattresses. Shop Built Right's President's Day and Randy Kay's birthday sale and $1 million clearance sell-off today. Special hours for President's Day, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. My wife and I love our new living room furniture and mattress from Built Right, and we love the shopping experience as well. Family-owned Built Right, third and fourth generation family working alongside their amazing team with over 400 years experience. Thousands of items in stock or custom order at a low sale price. USA made, small scale, Ohio Amish made, and real solid wood furniture. Over 48 models of power lift recliners in stock. 60 models of USA made mattresses. Built Right always saves you money. Shop President's Day today, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Otherwise open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, just off of 894 at 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Position players join pitchers and catchers at Brewers Camp in Arizona. After being shut down and having back surgery in August, Christian Yelich is on track for opening day.
I feel fine. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be ready for opening day. I kind of saw that come out before I came here, like I was a question mark for opening day, which I'm not really sure where that came from. Unless something crazy happens here, I don't see why I wouldn't be ready.
The Brewers begin the Cactus League season Saturday against the Cincinnati Reds. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Bucks resume the regular season Thursday night at home against the Los Angeles Clippers. And in college basketball, Marquette moves up 2 spots to number 16 in the latest AP Top 25 poll. The Wisconsin Badgers move up 5 spots to number 11. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We did have a couple of crashes in the last hour, but those have since cleared for the most part. The one that looks like, they still have that on the board, but the camera doesn't show it. Looks like that's gone. We do have a new one that just popped up. 4194 South, just a little bit beyond the ramp from Elm Road. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash there. And out in the Oconomowoc area, just a disabled vehicle. I-94 East at the ramp from Wisconsin 83. Right shoulder blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Off there on the side of the road in the snow that's still there. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. A cold weather advisory goes into effect at 9 o'clock tonight, and that will remain in effect until noon tomorrow. It's for all of southeastern Wisconsin. Yes, we are dealing with dangerously cold weather once again. Tonight, mostly clear, very cold. Our temperature, just a temp. The low tonight, 6 below. The wind is going to make it feel a lot worse. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, very cold. Our high is 10 tomorrow, but again, That wind, it's going to be brutal. Wednesday, we start to warm up. Mostly cloudy. PM flurries are possible. We have a high of 14 on Wednesday. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 22. Friday, it's going to feel a lot better. Mostly sunny and a high of 24. Right now, on the temperature board, I've got a 6, 7, 8 for you. 6 degrees in Milwaukee, 7 degrees in Waukesha, and 8 in Kenosha. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 109.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. Another week of Spanning the State about to commence. Kristen is not here today. She'll be back tomorrow. Took a little time off. Enjoyed the President's Day weekend and Valentine's Day and all of that. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day since last we spoke and were able to stay warm over the weekend. Man, I can't take it out on Jessica. She didn't make the forecast. She's just reporting it. But, oh, my God, it is, to say it's cold is an understatement. I should have brought a hat into the studio. But I hope over the weekend you were able to get your snow shoveled so it's not frozen to the sidewalk now. I know I spent part of my Saturday getting everything cleaned off. And then I was very excited when the sun came out for just a little bit and, you know, kind of took that little sheen off the sidewalk. So now we have bare concrete. But getting up this morning and going outside was crazy, and it's not going to get any better till the weekend. As you heard, another cold weather advisory is going into effect tonight at 9 p.m., and it goes till noon tomorrow. Milwaukee temperature is going to hover right around 0. That was this morning, and then wind chills reached between 18 and 22 below, which was crazy. It's going to get a little warmer. You heard the temperatures, 6, 7, and 8. Well, 9 is the projected high, so we're almost there if we could get there. Wind chills, though, still 15 below, and some of the surrounding communities, Brookfield and Waukesha, could see slightly colder temperatures all day long. Then tonight, it's going to get unbearably cold again, -6 to -10 in areas west of the city. Wind chills, -20 to -25. So listen, you don't need me to tell you not to go outside. It's insane out there. The only creature that will not listen to me when I tell them to stay in the house is one of our dogs, Maisie, who weighs probably 20 pounds. And even though we put a sweater on her, she still wants to go outside. Our other dog is smart and lazy. He just wants to stay on the couch. But I cannot convince her that it's too cold. So it's, okay, go out. And then we don't even leave. We just stand right at the door because she gets down there and snaps to and goes, oh, wow, this is really horrible. And then comes running back up. So just... the usual stuff. I don't know. You know how to behave in the cold weather. You're from Wisconsin. You know how to deal with this. But just know that it is going to be really cold tonight. It's going to be really cold when you get up tomorrow morning. And, man, I think as you get older, they say if you live in a warm climate, your blood thins out. I think as you get older, your blood thins out too. And I think most of us are this way. When I was a teenager, it didn't matter how cold it got, because you wanted to be cool. You wouldn't wear a hat. You wouldn't wear your gloves. Sometimes you might go out with your coat unzipped, and your parents or some grown-up would say, zip your coat, put on your hat. Yeah, whatever. And then you'd go on your merry way. Now, if I don't go out looking like I'm about to go on some Arctic expedition, I am just freezing. So that's what we got to look forward to today. On the show, what do we have to look forward to? Well, we've got a lot. We're going to talk about the Department of Education a little bit because we've been hearing a lot about it, and there's, according to reports, there's an executive order that's going to come out relatively soon, kind of disbanding the Department of Education. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but then we're going to delve into what the Department of Education actually does and doesn't do, because a lot of us, and myself included, we hear phrases like the Department of Education, and we may know a little bit about it, but we don't know the full extent of what they actually do. So we'll talk about that, get to the bottom of it, and then SNL just had a huge anniversary. Their big Coming Home concert was this weekend. Last night was the 50th anniversary, so we'll talk a little bit about your favorite SNL cast members. We'll spin the state and then have our Black History fact. This one, surprisingly, featuring someone who grew up about 3 miles from where I grew up. So that's, well, it's cool for me. I think the fact will be cool for you, whether you like it or not. And how to avoid being the annoying office worker. Do you find people avoiding you when you go to work? Well, you might want to do that. And finally, President Trump's media defamation lawsuits have spiked. We'll talk to a reporter from Axios who's going to give us the lowdown on why that's important, what that might mean for media outlets, and all of that. But when we come back, over the weekend, the governor made a proposal, which he will fully address tomorrow night in his budget speech. But surprisingly, it is getting support from both sides of the aisle. So we'll talk about what that means for people in Wisconsin after this on Spanning the State.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed in my home. Spring is quickly approaching, and it is the perfect time for you to get an awning installed, so it's ready once the temps warm up. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. In February, you can receive a free motor with the purchase of any retractable awning or screens. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
For people with disabilities, an opportunity can make all the difference. Get help navigating the transition into adulthood, employment, housing, healthcare, and more with Thinkability Wisconsin, a resource hub that empowers people with disabilities.
So this job makes me feel very confident. My goal is always to grow myself and learn new things.
Live life to the fullest. It all starts when you say yes. Contact a Thinkability Navigator to get help at thinkabilitywi.org.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Numbness, tingling in the hands, arms, legs, feet. Time to go see Dr. Alex Young and my team at Connect Chiropractic. Regular chiropractic care can bring life-changing results for folks who suffer from neuropathy and fibromyalgia, nervous system issues that can be corrected. And no worries about twisting, cracking, or popping. The docs at Connect Chiro use all the same method, a special tool that is pain-free and effective for your adjustments. Visit them in Delafield and Wauwatosa or get started online at goconnectchiro.com.
I wonder if being in a tomb would be warmer than being outside today. It might be. There's a lot going on outside. None of it is good. But we've talked a number of times on this show about the Green Bay Correctional Institute, the Waupun jail there, all of these buildings that were built in the 1800s, and how they need to be either fixed or closed, and what we're going to do about it. Well, this weekend, Governor Evers made a proposal in his budget to overhaul these state prisons. Now, it's nearly $500 million that he is proposing. The plan, if you haven't heard, is going to include tearing down the 127-year-old Green Bay Correctional Institute and then a massive renovation of the Waupun prison. So the plan, though, is hinging on one big thing, and that plan, that is to shut down the Lincoln Hills Youth Facility. So people have been trying to get that closed down. There have been years and years of reports and complaints about abuse and things like that. So within 4 years, the governor wants that to stop. No new people being admitted into the youth facility, which sounds all right. You know, that's something that everybody has been trying to get. So part of the plan, like I said, is to close that up. More Republicans are expected to weigh in today, but so far, or Tuesday night rather, when the governor delivers his state budget proposal. But a lot of Republicans are already speaking up and saying, yeah, you know what? this seems to make sense. And pardon me, I know I'm probably going to mispronounce this. This is a town I am not really familiar with. Eloise, village president, said there's finally a light at the end of the tunnel. He said GBCI is dangerous. Guards have been brutally assaulted. Inmates have been attacked and killed. It's not safe for our community. Madison owes it to the taxpayers of Wisconsin to finish this process and close GBCI once and for all. Today marks a positive step forward in that journey. And if you remember, as we've talked to the mayor of Waupun and all of other people who were invested in making these changes, they have all kind of said the same thing, that it's time to go. Rafter also went on to say he hopes Democrats and Republicans can find a consensus to do this. Now, Republican Representative David Steffen, who represents Howard in the state legislature, he's been one of the leading voices for closing GBCI for years. He told the Journal-Sentinel that there's going to likely be concern among other Republicans about, quote, any additional accelerated release of prisoners, end quote, which is, of course. See, a lot of times we look at a problem like this and say, oh, only one side is worried about this. No, I would imagine everybody is worried about accelerated release of prisoners. The governor's proposal, he said, has promise, but it would definitely need some work, which nothing comes out of the oven perfect when you're talking about proposals. There always is a little bit that needs to be done to get things in line and get everybody on board. There's some concessions that need to be made, some negotiations that need to happen, and that'll be good. Stephan went on to say, I'm unsure as to whether or not Evers' proposal will receive enough support, even in a modified fashion by the Republican-controlled legislature. That does not diminish the fact that for the first time in history, we finally have a governor who is willing to put on paper in his budget that GBCI should be closed. I don't know about you, but I'll take that as an encouraging sign that at least some Republicans are looking at this and going, okay, we've got the jumping off point. This is where we get going. So the mayor of Waupun, Ron Bishop, texted the Journal-Sentinel. He said he's grateful for the Department of Corrections Secretary, the governor, and legislators for understanding the importance of the prison to Waupun. A lot of people drive by and say, that's where the prisoners are. But to those of us who live here, they're part of our community. It's an important economic factor, yes, but also an important part of the heritage. Evers said he decided that it's less costly to close Green Bay than to replace it. He cited, again, the local support for closing the facility and then trying to decide which one to close. Was it going to be GBCI or was it going to be Waupun? And he decided to close Green Bay. The remodeling is being described as a vocational village because they're going to focus in the new prison, the remodeled correctional facility, on job training. And I think that's a big rip on a lot of our jails and prisons, that we preach reform, but we're really just punishing. So if you can, the recidivism rate for people who get out and are able to get jobs is much lower than that of people who are just sit, lift weights, read some books, and then get out of prison. So, again, different senators are saying different things. Senator Van Wengard, he's from Racine. He leads the Senate committee overseeing prison, said that if Evers is willing to have an honest discussion, I'm willing to work with him. The devil is in the details. Now, the senator is not sure the numbers add up, but in terms of cost and numbers of inmates, so he said the legislature isn't going to rubber stamp his ideas and let a bunch of felons out of prison. Well, of course, I would. I think Republican or Democrat, that's a good policy to have. We're not going to let hardened criminals out of prison. Felons don't just get to run the street. So let's, this is when negotiations start to fall apart, when you're throwing out wild accusations like that. But we'll see. We'll see. Right now, everything's looking good. So people are behind this. The governor will lay out more of the plan, like I said, tomorrow when he gets into his budget in full. But this is something that I know the people of Green Bay are excited about. People in Waupun seem excited about it to get this done. So we'll see where it goes. Let's do this, and when we come back, there is more on Spanning the State.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
I remember I never spoke in front of a podium until the NFC Championship game.
See the world from his perspective.
With all due respect, why were you asked to go to the podium?
To be podium guy.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
What do you mean with all due respect?
I didn't want it to come off like I was being rude. I'm just curious.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It comes off incredibly rude. Hey, Tausch, you suck. What are you doing up at the podium? Well, thanks, Bill.
Presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true, but offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan. Kristen will be back with us tomorrow, just in the nick of time for more frigid weather. Oh, my goodness, that's not going to be good. We have a story about this in spinning, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But there was this just came out in the Journal Sentinel that Senator Baldwin is now talking to the president and telling him that we need to pay attention to this bird flu stuff, and it's popping up everywhere. We're hoping to get somebody on to talk about it who's done some research, but this is it's getting more and more widespread. So the senator is talking to the administration. She's asking them, please, to get more involved and take action against this outbreak. It's devastating poultry flocks, California's dairy herds. In a letter to the president that Tammy Baldwin sent him on Friday, said during the first few weeks, the Department of Health and Human Services did not provide updated information to the public. And for the first time in decades, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention failed to publish the morbidity and mortality weekly report. She said she's relieved that the CDC has now reimbursed or resumed releasing the reports. I think most people are. Alarmed by the message that the administration is sending that avian flu is not a priority. In the last 30 days, more than 22 million birds, including 153 total poultry flocks, have been afflicted by the avian flu. There was another story. We got another human contact, and they said this was probably, before all the human contacts that we've reported on have been limited to either poultry farms or dairy farms, somebody who's coming in direct contact with an infected animal. This person was not, and they're also saying, we talked about this last week when all those dead ducks were found on the coast of Lake Michigan near Chicago, that even if you see them, keep away from them. Don't go anywhere near any of these dead animals. That is not good. So as you know, that is leading to the egg shortage, which I've been trying to preserve or reserve my eggs for special occasions, which is like Sunday. I like to have a couple eggs. But I went yesterday, and just out of curiosity, I was looking at the price of eggs. I found eggs for as low as $5.49. That was at Aldi. And then I saw eggs as high as $8, $9 at some other places. So I don't know. I don't know at what point we're just going to all say we don't need eggs anymore. But it's getting. It's very sad when, that's when we talked to Russ Klisch the other day about the line if tariffs go through and aluminum costs go up, and so craft brewers then have to raise their prices. What's the breaking point for consumers? Then there's been talk about, when cigarettes got to a certain point, that's when a lot of consumers decided, I don't have the money to buy cigarettes, so they stopped buying cigarettes. There's reports now in New York that if you go into the bodegas, you can buy Lucy's. You could buy 1 or 2 eggs in a bag. You don't have to buy a whole dozen, and they're charging about $1.50 an egg. So I'll let you do the math on what that would be. That would be a very expensive dozen, but it makes a little bit of sense if you only need a couple eggs. 'Cause there's been a lot of times in the past, I would never let this happen now, but there have been times in the past where we buy eggs and we only use a few of them and then they expire. And my wife is one of these people who, once the use-by date is passed, even though I have cited evidence and shown her articles, once the use-by date is passed, those eggs went in the garbage. So if you're baking something or making a recipe and you only need a couple eggs, I guess $3 is better than, 10, but we'll see. All right, when we come back on the other side of the news, we're going to talk a little bit about the Department of Education, what they do, what they don't do, and what may be happening with a new executive order. So we've got a lot to get to, but ABC News and local headlines are next.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. More federal workers canned suddenly by the Elon Musk government efficiency operation. We're talking about how disorganized and chaotic it is. ABC's Mary Alice Parks at the White House.
We've heard stories of people who have gotten email notices that they have lost their job at midnight, even when their own supervisors and advisors didn't know. People who were locked out of their email and HR systems before they could figure out whether they would still have health insurance.
The Trump administration says some terminations were sent by mistake to employees who accepted the buyout offer, including 300 at the agency that protects U.S. nuclear weapons. Officials are frantically trying to hire them back. Kentucky dealing with flood emergencies after a weekend storm killed at least 11 people. Canadian national anthem was booed, though somewhat weakly, by fans at the Four Nations face-off today in Boston. Apparent payback for the jeering of the Star-Spangled Banner during opening rounds in Montreal last week. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:31. I'm Jessica Ty. A visually impaired woman from Racine has filed more than 30 lawsuits alleging businesses' websites are not accessible to screen readers. The filings include several against Wisconsin-based companies like Anodyne Coffee and Koss. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Melissa McCabe has filed several lawsuits over the past 2 years. She's one of more than 100 plaintiffs using tester lawsuits to push businesses to evaluate their websites for compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Neither Anodyne nor Koss have commented on the lawsuits. Reforms proposed for Wisconsin's corrections facilities. The multi-tiered plan announced by Governor Tony Evers would close both Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake juvenile facilities in northern Wisconsin and build a new one near Madison. Green Bay Correctional Institution would be closed in 2029, and the state's oldest prison in Waupun would be converted to a medium security center focused on vocational training. No staff layoffs under the $500 million proposal. The plan needs approval yet from the Republican-controlled legislature. And repairs are underway for a water main break in West Dallas. Crews are working right now on salting the area due to ice along Highway 100. There will be only one lane of traffic from Washington Street to Walker Street going northbound. The repair is expected to be complete by 6 o'clock tonight, but the road will likely be closed through Wednesday for road repairs. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update is a quick one. The markets are closed today due to the holiday. It's President's Day. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's get you an update on the roads right now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're doing a lot better than we were, about 90 minutes ago. Just a couple disabled vehicles on the system. 4194 south at Ryan Road. Right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down there. And also the other one, look at that. It just cleared. We like that. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Cold weather advisory goes into effect at 9 o'clock tonight and lasts until noon tomorrow for all of southeastern Wisconsin. It is dangerously cold, so bundle up if you have to be outside. We have a high of 7 today, and ding, 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 we just hit it here in Milwaukee. Partly cloudy, breezy tonight, mostly clear, very cold. Our low, 6 below zero, and the wind is going to make it feel much worse. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, very cold again. We have a high of 10, but again, the wind is going to make it feel rough. Possibly feeling like 25 below in some spots. Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Flurries are possible in the nighttime hours, high of 14. Thursday, partly cloudy. We start to warm up, high of 22. Friday is going to feel a lot better and look better too. Mostly sunny and a high of 24. It's currently 9 degrees in Kenosha, 7 in Waukesha, and 7 here in Milwaukee. I'm Jessica Ty. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest lies the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. Journey through 90 years of history in the timbered stone structure. It's gorgeous. And when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free 7 days a week. An amazing deal at an amazing place. Choice steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, even the steak and lobster, any entree, your second dinner's free. The Fox and Hounds desserts, and I love those, and huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons on their bourbon list, over 100 fine wines, 8 elegant dining rooms with real wood-burning fireplaces. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, a Top Choice Award winner for fine dining and most romantic restaurant. Take your family to the Fox and Hounds this week. Half your dinners are free. I love this place. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368. This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan. We talk a lot about education here on the show, and a lot of the focus is on MPS. And to say MPS has a lot of issues is probably one of the great understatements of the day. You heard reports today that now they're going to have to go to court to say why they're not adhering to the judge's order to have the security, the community resource officers back in. There was a report the other day that a number of buildings are filled with lead. There's, of course, the whole thing with the superintendent. We have a new superintendent coming in. So MPS on a local level is in trouble. Every election, which will include the one in April, we are bombarded with school referendums. Everybody needs money. Of course they do, because schools need money to operate. And a lot of people put those problems in the same basket as the Department of Education. And I think there's some confusion about what the Department of Education actually does. So we're going to get into what they do and what they don't do, and just then you can have a better understanding. And I can have a better understanding, too, about what they do and going forward, how we feel about certain things, like the report from NBC News that the White House is preparing an executive order that will eliminate the Education Department. Now, there's one problem with that. A president cannot unilaterally abolish a federal agency without the approval of Congress. But that's for Congress to decide down the road. That's part of the law that, a president can say this, but maybe they don't get it done. But either way, the Education Department was established in 1979 during Jimmy Carter's administration. And back in September of 23, the president said, one thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. In reality, a lot of that stuff is handled by state and local districts, and we'll get into what is and isn't in just a couple minutes, but that's fine. On their end, the Department of Education says they have elementary and secondary programs that serve more than 50 million students in about 98,000 public schools and 32,000 private schools. They also provide grant, loan, and work study assistance to more than 12 million post-secondary students. The president of the National Education Association said that if this order were to come through and Congress then would abolish the Department of Education, it would hurt students and families, especially in vulnerable populations, which I think most of us can agree is not a good thing. So according to, again, this is the Department of Education saying this, and they're going to defend their worth, of course. They said that if this goes through, it would cut resources for our most vulnerable students, explode class size, cut job training programs, make higher education more expensive and out of reach for middle-class families, take away special education service for students with disabilities, and gut student civil rights protections. Now, the Department of Education has a long history of Republicans not really supporting the department and calling for its elimination. And that started long before the current administration was in. That started under the Reagan administration. And Republicans at that time were advocating to dismantle it. But up until now, they have not been able to pass legislation to do it. So if this executive order comes out, and again, then it has to go to Congress, an effort would face major obstacles in the Senate. 60 votes are needed to overcome a filibuster and advance to a final vote. Given that the Republicans have a narrow majority, they would need Democratic support to do this, which at this point seems unlikely for them to pass a bill. So that's kind of the background of the Department of Education. You may think, well, I don't have kids in school. I don't want the federal government telling my teachers what to teach, and maybe you believe the party line about propaganda and indoctrination and what kids are being taught, and it's coming from the government. Well, let's find out for sure. Let's do a little dive, and let's find out what exactly the Department of Education does and what the Department of Education doesn't do, and then maybe we can have, all of us, a more informed debate. All right, so we'll get to that after this. It's Spanning the State.
Fall in love with your vision with a new style from Shopko Optical. Use your vision benefits and schedule an annual comprehensive eye exam. You can check out new frame styles and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Shopko Optical is committed to quality eye care and will create personalized vision solutions tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Treat yourself to a new style. Call Shopko Optical or visit shopko.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
At the Milwaukee Auto Show, we have a vehicle for almost everything, and we certainly have a vehicle for your thing. The Auto Show has the largest selection of vehicles from different manufacturers all in one place. Barrett Center, the 22nd through the 2nd. Buy tickets online, no added fees. AutoShowMilwaukee.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Cornerstone Development. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Hey, Wisconsin, WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac, where the once-a-year auto show sales event is on. Prime time to explore all that's new and score great offers and special savings to get more Mazda for your money and more for your trade. Connect with Holiday for expert help, their low simplified price, and $500 auto show bonus cash on new 2025s. Stackable with offers like low 2.9% 5-year financing for well-qualified buyers on most models, including Mazda CX-30, CX-5, and CX-50. How about the 2-row Mazda CX-70 and 3-row Mazda CX-90? Save even more if you or someone in your household already drives Mazda with owner loyalty rewards. Get qualifying details today and enjoy the award-winning guest care at Wisconsin's #1. It's the stuff that makes fans of drivers from all over the Badger State, and I'm one of them. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac and holidaymazda.com. It's worth the trip.
Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Yes, it's Spanning the State. Yes, that's the Jackson 5. And yes, didn't Michael have a lovely voice when he was a child? Yes, he did, and his brothers. All right, so we're talking about the possibility, according to sources at NBC, that an executive order will be coming out that will abolish the Department of Education. And I know some people are very happy about that. Other people very upset about that possibility. And I don't mind ever having a debate or a conversation with people who have a different point of view than I do. What I find, though, a lot of times is that we as a society, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too, you read the headline, and the headline is your talking point, or you hear your favorite commentator, whatever side you're on, and you just parrot that back without really knowing the facts. And part of what we want to do here on Spanning the State is give you the facts so you can, and we can, have more, at least, fact-based discussions. So here is what the Department of Education actually does. They protect students with disabilities. It enforces IEPs, which if you're not in education, you might not know, those are individualized education programs, and 504 plans, which all are based in helping students who have various learning challenges get the most out of school. Those are protected by the Department of Education. And that is under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. So without that, schools could refuse accommodations to kids who need them because it costs money for a school to implement an IEP. Sometimes it's bringing in a speech pathologist or a physical or occupational therapist or having more reading specialists or math specialists in a school. So that's one thing the DOE does. They also ensure equal access to education, enforcing Title IX, protecting students from sexual discrimination, Title VI, which protects students from racial discrimination, and laws ensuring English language learners and low-income students get a fair shot. I know Title IX is a big point of contention, so that may be one place where you're like, well, okay, I don't agree with that. That's fine. But that is what the DOE does. They also provide federal education funding, sending billions to public schools. Title I schools, which are for low-income students, special education programs, and Pell Grants for college students. And you might think, well, I don't have any kids in school, and I don't need to have billions sent to public schools. Well, that's an argument. But maybe you have a neighbor who has kids with special needs. Maybe you live in an area where the next town over, there's a lot of low-income students trying to go to school there. You think about that, but that's another thing. They oversee federal student loans. They manage programs like public service loan forgiveness, income-driven repayment plans, and loan relief programs. Yes, the ones you cheered for. And it's said that you'll still be responsible for paying the loans you've already taken out, regardless of if the DOE gets disbanded. So just getting rid of them doesn't mean you're off the hook for your loan payments. The DOE also holds schools accountable. It investigates discrimination, ensures civil rights laws are followed, and prevents fraud in higher education, like scam colleges that take your money and leave you with useless degrees. They also support teachers and education research. They fund initiatives to improve teaching methods, early childhood education, and STEM programs to keep our kids competitive globally. And you know we've talked about that a lot lately, too, how far the U.S. has fallen in STEM, and the fact that we need to get on the ball to get our kids up to date. Now, you're free to disagree with any of those, but that's what they do. Let me tell you what the DOE does not do. They do not control what your kids learn. State and local school boards decide the curriculum, the textbooks, and what's taught in history or science class. The DOE doesn't have a particular agenda that they force on schools. So if you have a problem as a parent with what your school is teaching or what your kids are learning, it's not the federal government that should be taken to task. You need to go and talk to your local school board or your school district, and you're free to do that. The DOE does not run public schools. Schools are managed by states and local districts, not the federal government. They're not in charge of hiring or firing teachers. Teacher salaries, hiring, and qualifications are determined by state laws and local school boards. And I know there's a vast difference in state laws from Illinois to Wisconsin, just to name two states. That's not controlled by the feds. That's controlled by Wisconsin and Illinois. They don't mandate Common Core. That, again, is a state decision. The DOE doesn't force states to adopt any particular education standards. And finally, they do not regulate private schools. Private and religious schools operate independently. And while some federal protections do apply, the DOE doesn't dictate how they run. So those are the facts. What they do, what they don't do. And whether you agree with some and disagree with others, at least if you're arguing this point with someone, arm yourself with the facts and realize that a lot of the issues that we have with schools, and there are many, not only here in Milwaukee, but across the state and across the country, there are plenty of problems with school districts. Most of those problems are handled on a local and district level. So those are the people that we need to talk to. All right, when we come back, it was a big anniversary for a very, very popular program. I remember being there for the first episode. Maybe you do too. We're going to talk a little bit about SNL, and I want to get your favorite cast members. There was a list. I don't know if I agree with all of it. We'll get to that after this on Spanning the State.
Warmer temps are on the way. It's time for the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase on WTMJ. Get all the tips, tricks, and best practices to improve your home with our trusted partners, including Kohler Services, Yutka Fence, and Ridgetop Exteriors. So be listening for all of our interviews coming up on the air. Plus, we'll post everything for you. You can listen anytime at WTMJ.com. It's the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase, only here on WTMJ.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer. During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 arriving from payroll platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant at home office, 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Tax preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Heiser's Snowy Roads Sweetheart Prices sales event is happening now. Remaining 2024 models are priced to go. Looking for a vehicle that can handle our wintry roads? Get yourself a reliable all-wheel drive that can handle anything winter throws at you. With heated seats to top safety features and our exclusive Safe and Sound program, which includes roadside assistance for life, our vehicles are built to keep you cozy with peace of mind, even when the roads get slick. But hurry, our 2024 models are almost gone. So visit Heiser.com today.
See dealer for complete details.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Live from New York, this
Saturday Night Live with Vanessa Bayer.
We're going to run through the whole thing, all the old cast members. That is the familiar opening to Saturday Night Live. And over the weekend, there was the 50th anniversary concert where bands came back. I didn't see that. I recorded the 50th anniversary special, so I'm going to watch that tonight. But supposedly, it was full of a lot of great moments, a lot of clunkers, basically like any SNL episode. I saw this over the weekend, though, in USA Today. They ranked, now again, it's USA Today, they ranked the best cast members, the top 50. So let me start with the bottom 5. 50 was Bowen Yang. Now, I don't like Bowen Yang, but I don't think he's the 50th best in the history of SNL. John Lovitz, criminally low on this list. Sherry O'Terry at 48, Nora Dunn at 47, and Chris Parnell at 46. Nora Dunn and Chris Parnell, okay, they're, last 5, that's fine. If I were going to rank my top 5, it would be Belushi, Phil Hartman, Kristen Wiig, Eddie Murphy, and Will Ferrell. Those are my top 5. USA Today, from 5 to 1, Will Ferrell, John Belushi, Gilda Radner, who is fantastic, Phil Hartman, and number 1, Eddie Murphy, who supposedly kills it on this anniversary special. No spoilers. Don't call me and give me any, he did Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. I don't want to hear it, because I'm going to watch it tonight. When we come back after the news, we are going to spin around the state here on Spanning the State.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. Taxes in retirement could take a bigger bite out of your savings than ever before. With a rising tax environment, many retirees are worried about running out of money. At Drake & Associates, we understand those fears, and we're here to help you feel more confident about your retirement. That's why we're offering a free retirement toolkit and a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to help you take control of your financial future. Don't let rising taxes catch you off guard. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 to to claim your free resources. That's TAX to 414-897-9522.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
What we've found is that when you have workers who feel valued, you get better results. This is why good people and good culture should matter to anyone looking for an exterior remodeling company they can trust. It's going to be your experience and the end result that gives you peace of mind, because you'll know your work was done by people who care. We realized early on that if we were going to change the reputation of this industry for the better, that finding good workers that you could trust to do great work was going to be the key. We're attracting good people every day because we take care of our people. We want to make sure they feel important because they are. And we're going to make sure you feel important and valued too, with excellent customer service and high quality work. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi!
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 2 o'clock, it is currently 6 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Julia Fellow. We're under a cold weather advisory through 9 o'clock tonight until noon tomorrow morning for all of southeastern Wisconsin. Tonight, mostly clear, very cold. The low will be 6 below zero. Wind chill, 25 below zero. Wow. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, very cold. The high will be 10 degrees. Wind chill down to 25 below zero. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, bitter cold once again gripped our state. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore.
Nothing too crazy for this time of year. Just kind of typical February. You can get some of these swings where you get still some cold air that drops out of Canada. I'm really hoping this is our last major cold air outbreak for the winter months.
Your complete 5-day forecast is coming up in less than 5 minutes. Representatives from Milwaukee Public Schools must head to court this afternoon after failing to reinstate school resource officers by today's mandated deadline.
The National Association of School Resource Officers confirms to WTMJ that as of this morning, no Milwaukee Police Department officer has completed their basic SRO course since August of 2023, and no MPD officers are currently enrolled in the course at any location in Wisconsin or surrounding states. A judge in January had set today as a deadline for the district to re-implement school resource officers in MPS buildings. The district must now appear in court to explain their non-compliance. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Our Jessica Gatso will be in the courtroom when it's set to start at 3 this afternoon. We'll bring you the latest on Wisconsin's afternoon news. World leaders are in Saudi Arabia today to discuss how to end the war in Ukraine.
We're moving along. We're trying to get a peace with Russia, Ukraine, and we're working very hard on it.
While President Trump is not there,
one of his promises was he would work to bring an end to this conflict.
Secretary of State Rubio is.
This is the first step in that process, but we have a long ways to go.
The peace talks have been criticized for not including Ukraine or other European nations. But President Trump says Ukrainian President Zelensky,
he will be involved.
As to when Trump will have that planned face-to-face with Russian President Putin,
no time set, but it could be very soon.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
A new update from Pope Francis.
Pope Francis is touched by the numerous messages of affection and closeness that he continues to receive in these hours.
In particular, he intends to thank those who are currently hospitalized for the affection and love they expressed through the drawings and wishes.
The 88-year-old remains in a hospital in Rome. That was ABC News' James Longman. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The markets are closed today for the President's Day federal holiday. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Limited News Time, 2:03.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Position players join pitchers and catchers at Brewers Camp in Arizona. After being shut down and having back surgery in August, Christian Yelich is back on track for opening day.
I feel fine. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be ready for opening day. I kind of saw that come out before I came here, like I was a question mark for opening day, which I'm not really sure where that came from. Unless something crazy happens here, I don't see why I wouldn't be ready.
The Brewers begin the Cactus League season Saturday against the Reds. The Bucks resume the regular season Thursday night at home against the Clippers. College basketball, Marquette moves up 2 spots to number 16 in the AP 25 poll. Wisconsin Badgers move up 5 spots to number 11. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Let's take a look at your roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. The only major thing I see right now is a disabled vehicle on the ramp from County 00 to I-41 North. This is in Fond du Lac. It looks like someone is trying to fix their tire as you get onto 41, so please be aware.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring positive, professional servers, bartenders, and pizza cooks. You'll make real cash. Inquire today, start next week. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. A cold weather advisory goes into effect 9 o'clock tonight until noon tomorrow for all of southeastern Wisconsin. Tonight, the low will reach 6 below zero actual temperature. Wind chill will make it feel like it's 25 below zero. Tuesday, tomorrow, sunny, really cold, a high of 10. Wind chill will make it feel like it's 25 below zero again. Wednesday, evening flurries are possible. The high will be 14 degrees. Cloudy Thursday, the high will be 22. Sunny Friday, the high will be 24. In Madison right now it's 6 degrees, Green Bay 6 degrees, and Waukesha it is 5 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Well, the state might be under a deep freeze, but that doesn't stop the news from happening all over Wisconsin, and it doesn't stop the wheel from spinning here on Spinning the State. If you miss any of the details or just want to review them, then please text SPIN to 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. All right, let's start it off for another week on Spinning.
Milwaukee.
Well, earlier this month, and we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, hundreds of red-breasted mergansers were found sick or dead along Lake Michigan in the Chicago area, with officials suspecting avian flu as the cause of the deaths. Well, now, Wisconsin wildlife officials have identified the highly contagious avian influenza virus in wild ducks along Lake Michigan just off Milwaukee. According to WPR, the State Department of Natural Resources reported Friday that laboratory tests had identified the virus in a wild merganser recently collected in Milwaukee County. In a form, the DNR officials also received reports of sick or dead mergansers and other waterfowl along the shoreline in Racine and Kenosha counties. The reports involve fewer than 50 birds total, which is good, I guess. Tom Finley, Director of Education at the Schlitz Audubon Nature Center in Milwaukee, said he has been talking with their visitors about the virus and urging people not to approach or collect dead birds they might encounter. Yeah, that sounds like a really horrible collection. Do baseball cards, shot glasses, something else, but not dead birds. The avian flu virus has been identified in other wild bird species. The majority of reported deaths have been in swans and Canadian geese, according to the DNR. State officials have identified the virus in 6 Wisconsin counties since December, including Dane, Brown, St. Croix, and Wood. So we're going to keep an eye on this. It doesn't seem like a problem that is going away anytime soon. All right, back to the wheel we go.
Dane.
I'm not going to lie, I only knew Dane as the county, not as the town, but it was news that snow lovers in Wisconsin were waiting for. A few snowmobile trails in Dane County are finally open, and riders are taking advantage of the first day of the season, which happened last week. Dane County Parks announced in a press release that snowmobile trails in the Northwest and North Central regions opened on Saturday. Snowmobile groups are now flocking to the trails. WKOW spoke with Sam Landis, the director of the Association of Wisconsin Snowmobile Clubs and Dane County Council Snowmobile Clubs. Landis has over 50 years' experience snowmobiling. Not surprisingly, he is very excited to return to the trails this year with his group of riders. He said, "We expect heavy traffic this afternoon. Once the word gets out, you can see sleds trickling in, and you're going to see more and more machines as they're out there." The trails are opening a little bit later than usual this year, but heavier winter storms the past few days have made it possible to open some of the trails in the county. The snowmobiling season is expected to last for at least a couple of weeks or more, depending on snow totals. So the good news is, if you love that kind of thing, snow's not going to be melting because it is going to stay cold for a while. Let's spin it one more time and see where we land, shall we?
Kenosha.
Oh, we're going to end on a happy, cozy, cushy note. The Kenosha County Sheriff's Department has a new employee, and her job is to give comfort to stressed-out deputies. Relax. Joy, an 11-week-old Australian Labradoodle, will serve as the office's new therapy dog. That's right. The idea of having a support dog for deputies came from the office's internal peer support group. The group found a kennel that donated Joy, and the office also received a donation from a citizen for equipment and training. The Kenosha News reported that initial funding for Joy came from Linda Angel in memory of her late daughter, Erin Angel, who was a probation officer. Sergeant Colin Coltrip told Kenosha News that the sheriff's office is consistently finding new ways to support the mental health of its deputies. He said, "We're trying to push away the stigma against mental health. Thankfully, we have the opportunity to make mental health better here for us." Detective Adam Bernard was selected from the Kenosha County Sheriff's Office personnel to be Joy's handler. I wouldn't mind. Can I start bringing one of my dogs in just as an emotional support dog? Do I have to get any paperwork, you think, from the higher-ups? Maybe.
I mean, we have our other dog. Just might as well bring yours.
Yeah, but she only goes to one salesperson who has treats in her desk.
I'll bring treats for your dog.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. Yeah, my dog. Listen, one of the dogs doesn't need any treats. He'd just come in here and lay down. He'd be the most chill dog. He wouldn't like the stairs. Kind of like me.
He's small. We can carry him.
No, he's not small. He's big. He's just lazy. But I could bring him in through the food car. All right, I'll run it up the flagpole. See if it works. If I can start bringing one of my dogs in. I'd say I could tie him up at my desk, but that's a whole other story. All right, let's. If you want. Sorry, that's inside. I apologize. If you want any more details, please text SPIN to Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line at 855-616-1620. And don't forget, you can also get Spinning the State as part of our podcast. You can go to WTMJ.com or anywhere you get your podcasts to listen to Spinning the State or the interviews or the whole show. A lot you can listen to. Just go check it out at your leisure. When we come back, it's February, so that means we're going to rip off Derek Mosley again for a Black History fact. We'll do that after this. It's Spanning the State.
The Upswing with Jeff Sherman.
We're talking with Alex Wenzel from Lion's Tail Brewing Company. You have a yoga partner. Is that just in Tosa or is that in Neenah too?
Yeah, we try all different kinds of things. You never know what's going to work. Bingo, and we do an Oktoberfest up in Neenah and food trucks all the time. You just keep trying things and trying to reach different people and see what works.
Everyone's doing beer yoga these days.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Hey, WTMJ's Brian Noonan here for Milwaukee Weight Loss, and I am so excited. I have to share this with you. I started this weight loss journey about 5 weeks ago. I've already lost 28 pounds. I've lost 5 inches around my waist, and the other day, my wife told me that a shirt I was wearing looked too big. Win, win, win. You want to know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day, don't you? Well, this doctor's developed easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects. There's no prepackaged meals. You eat your own food, no bars, no shakes, no exercising required. The program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good, and they have coaches for ongoing support. I had to contact my coach last week. Very helpful. Kick-started stuff. Everything's moving along. The program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as other programs, which is great motivation. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultations. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. I've lost 28 in a month. Not bad. I am on my way to hitting my goal. It is insane to watch your body lose a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
The largest industrial trade show in Wisconsin is the PFMA Plant Engineering and Maintenance Expo. Industrial professionals in charge of facility management and maintenance, purchasing, or manufacturing will save time learning about important advances all under one roof.
Skip the show day lines and go to pfmainc.com for fast and free pre-registration. The PFMA Expo. Free with free parking. February 19th and 20th at Washington County Fair Park in West Bend.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan. It is February. We are celebrating Black History Month, and every day, Judge Derek Mosley posts a Black History fact on his social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and he does all the work so we can share these with you, and we appreciate Derek Mosley's stuff, so go follow him on social media, and then you can read these yourself. So today, Judge Mosley introduced us to Sophia Dannenberg. She is the first African-American and the first Black woman to reach the summit of Mount Everest. That is pretty cool. She was raised in Homewood, Illinois, a mere 2 miles from where I grew up. I did not climb anything, but Dannenberg graduated magna cum laude from Harvard and was a Fulbright Fellow at Keio University in Tokyo, where she took up rock climbing as a hobby. She decided to climb Mount Everest just 1 week before she made her ascent. All right, right there, that is either the most impressive thing I've ever heard or one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Be like, hey, what are you going to do next Saturday? I'm climbing Mount Everest. Have you ever climbed? No. So she did that, withstanding bad weather during the night at 7 a.m. on May 19th, 2006. Dannenberg reached the top of Mount Everest. At the time, she was suffering from bronchitis, a stuffed nose, frostbite on her cheeks, and a clogged oxygen mask. And none of that stopped her. In addition to Everest, Dannenberg has climbed 8 other summits, including Mount Rainier, Kilimanjaro, Grand Teton, and Denali, or as it is now called again, Mount McKinley. So congratulations to Sophia Dannenberg. Very, very impressive. Can you imagine climbing a mountain a week after you decide to do it, or running a marathon the week after you decide to do it?
No, but someone did. Dylan Brixis here. He ran like a 5K or something after a night out. I said, well, how did you do that?
But had he run them before?
I guess.
Okay. That's still crazy.
Insane.
But to have never done it and then just say, I'm going to do it? Like, I don't know. But that's it. So every day through February, again, we will be sharing Derek Mosley's Black History Facts with you, and you can always follow him on social media at Instagram and Facebook. All right. Look around your office. Can you identify the most annoying coworker? If not, oh, man, get a mirror, because it could be you. What are the signs and what makes the most annoying office worker, and how you can maybe change your ways? We'll get to that after this on Spanning the State.
When we're out in your town, come say hi to us as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're out on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show,
wherever we may be, you can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
WTMJ.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. They're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Yeah, it's Spanning the State. You might be on the crazy train if you sit near somebody at work who just drives you completely nuts. They're so annoying, and they don't seem to know it. Now, if you're thinking, Brian, I don't have anybody like that at my office, guess what? You're that person. You're probably the person who's annoying everybody. But that's okay. That's why we're here. We're going to point out your annoying habits and kind of tell you how to fix them, hopefully. So I just told you I'm on this weight loss program. And so I have to eat. I'm eating clean. And sometimes I bring the leftovers from my dinner the night before to work for lunch, like most of you do. So last night I had made fish, and it was delicious. And I had some fish left over, and I was going to bring that for lunch today. And then I thought, now see, I can't smell, so it's never been an issue for me. I have no sense of smell. But I said to Debbie, I go, I can't bring fish, can I? Because then I'm going to be that guy who brought fish and heated it up in the microwave. And she's like, oh, my God, no. Don't be that guy. So I didn't bring any fish today to the office. So I was trying not to be annoying. Trust me, I'm annoying in many other ways. My lunch would be the least of it. But if you are, now Jeff already jumping in on the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. He says, my most annoying coworker talks excessively, does not use her inside or quiet voice, laughs at her own attempts at humor, and sounds like Muttley the dog from Hanna-Barbera's Laugh Olympics. That's Muttley. Jeff, guess what? You are not alone. The number one annoying habits is never stops talking. Now, Rhea, you've probably seen this because there are, on TikTok, there's a lot of posts under the hashtag coworker problems. So they said there's over 21,000 TikTok posts on that.
It has not quite reached my algorithm.
Well, you'd start posting some, and then you'll start posting a few, and then you'll be in. So never stops talking. So if you are the person, maybe you're Jeff's coworker, maybe you're somebody who I just love to talk because everybody in my office finds me fascinating and funny, and they just want to hear what I have to say. Try and practice active listening to try to encourage other coworkers to contribute. You don't need to be on a diatribe. And if the office is quiet, consider pausing the conversation or moving it to the online platform. Yeah, keep your yapper shut sometimes. Number 2, this would annoy me, micromanaging from non-authority figures. So just somebody who's on equal standing with you, telling you how to do things. That makes me want to go, you're not the boss of me, so zip it. So in order to avoid this, you're supposed to focus on collaboration rather than control. Trust your fellow colleagues to manage their own tasks and offer support only when needed. Or don't offer any support at all, and then nobody's going to bother you. I don't know anybody here. Everybody here is kind of like this. People who are proud of not taking breaks. We work, all of us. I haven't seen anybody here who doesn't work through lunch, and it's just part of the deal. But they say in this piece that you're supposed to normalize taking breaks and encourage a healthy work-life balance. I love it. Chronic complaining. You know somebody in the office who's nonstop. Oh, where am I going to sit? It's too cold. I can't believe it. This place stinks. If you're that person, shift your thinking to focus on solutions rather than problems and try to avoid bringing down your coworkers. But some of the solutions the bosses don't want to hear either. They want you to just keep moving along. All right. Now, this last one, if you do this, you're an animal, quite frankly. And this is out of all these annoying habits, this is the only one I would say a sound thrashing would be in order for this. Eating other people's lunch. They have a tip for this. Here's my tip. Just don't. Why would you eat somebody else's lunch? I do not advocate violence. I try not to be a violent individual. I would probably have to headbutt somebody if they ate my lunch. Because by the time lunch comes, and I told you we're already working through lunch, so it's not like I have leisurely time to go out and get something. I have to, I bring my lunch every day, put it in the fridge, it's clearly marked. If somebody puts their meat hooks on my lunch, there's going to be trouble up in that cafe.
I'm shocked that your first move of violence is immediately a headbutt.
Well, what am I going to do? Stand up there screaming? If I'm up there screaming, I'm creating a scene. If I just walk up to that person, headbutt them quick, and they go down, I can be gone before anybody notices they've fallen.
It's wild.
Then
Brian.
It's like, oh, look at that. Bob had some sort of a stroke and he fell down. I don't know any Bobs here. That's why I use the name Bob. There's not a guy. I don't want HR going, did you try to headbutt Bob? There's no Bob. Bob is a figment of my imagination. But would you ever see the other ones? I can see people doing. The other ones all make sense. Yes, they're annoying. Yes, maybe you're being a little petty to get upset by them. But that's what happens. Everybody likes to complain sometimes, especially if you feel that your complaints are justified and there are other like-minded people. If you're the only negative Nancy in the office, nobody's going to want to be around you. But if you find like-minded people who all have a gripe, then you can sit and snipe for about an hour and a half with each other while you're not eating or while you're not working during lunch, which never happens, so there's no time even to gossip like that. All right, so there's the thing. Be honest with me. You can text me. I won't. You don't have to use your name. I won't even give out your area code. If you've eaten somebody else's lunch, why and what happened if they caught you? Or were you just a devious little scoundrel, took their lunch, and then scurried out of the building like the rat that you are? No judgment. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of judgment. But you can... But text me at the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line, 855-616-1620. I won't give any identifying information about you. And if this is Bob, you know what's coming your way. There is no Bob. Why do I keep mentioning Bob?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But
That's a good safe
Bob's
name.
not coming. It is kind of a safe name. So, Rhea, do you have an annoying habit that's not on this list?
I know of some that bother me, but I'm sure I'm just as annoying to other people. But like crumbs, like if you're going to eat in a shared space, like we're all adults.
Okay.
I think that's a big one for me where I'm like, if I'm coming to a workspace and there's crumbs all over, then that's an issue. Because if you can't eat and clean up, then what are we doing?
Clean up after yourself. That's a good one. I know one of yours.
Uh-oh.
Not pushing in chairs. You do not like when people don't push in chairs.
I've done it too, though, but I was like, wow, my team really we're not pushing them in. We're just getting up and go.
I'll be quite honest, since you addressed it, and now I'm cognizant at home if I don't push in my chair. I'm cognizant everywhere I go that my chair must be pushed in at all times, or somewhere you're going to have, like, your spidey sense is going to go off. Go, I knew it. I knew he was not pushing in his chair.
Oh, gosh.
So that's, listen, you've changed my life, Rhea. You made me a more responsible chair user. When we come back after the news, you might not be aware of this. I really wasn't, but the president's media defamation suits have spiked. We're going to talk to Carrie Flynn from Axios to find out why this is a big deal, if in fact it is, and a whole lot more. But right now, it's time for ABC News and local headlines.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. A jetliner looks to have landed in Toronto at an airport upside down, according to images on social media. ABC's Alex Stone.
Well, details of what happened when the Delta Airlines Canadian regional jet operated by Endeavour Air landed in a snowy Toronto are not clear. Toronto Pearson Airport is confirming an incident involving the flight landing from Minneapolis and that emergency teams are responding.
Local TV in Toronto reporting 8 people injured, 1 critical condition. All the crew and passengers are accounted for. Federal workers protesting what they say is the chaotic way Elon Musk's government efficiency operation is slashing thousands of jobs.
Where is Congress?
Outside the U.S. Capitol in Washington, this demonstration, protesters calling for Congress to rein in the billionaire. An Israeli drone strike in southern Lebanon today killed the head of Hamas's military operations in the country. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living and Limited News Time, 2:31. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story, the Sheboygan Area School District says they are not going to assist investigations for ICE enforcement. The news comes in wake of executive orders from the White House. The district superintendent says they're committed to maintaining safe and welcoming schools. Jake Conrath tells the Sheboygan Press they've never been contacted by ICE, and as a district, they'll comply with all student privacy laws. Reforms proposed for Wisconsin's correctional facilities. The multi-tier plan announced by the governor would close both Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake juvenile facilities in northern Wisconsin and build a new one near Madison. Green Bay Correctional Institution would be closed in 2029. It's the state's oldest prison, and it would be converted into a medium security center focused on vocational training. No staff layoffs under the $500 million proposal. The plan still needs approval from the Republican-controlled legislature. Repairs underway for a water main break in West Dallas. Crews working on salting the area due to ice along Highway 100. There will only be one lane of traffic from Washington Street to Walker Street going northbound. The repair is expected to be completed by 6 o'clock tonight. The road will likely be closed through Wednesday for road repairs. Time for News About Your Money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Because of the federal holiday, with today being President's Day, the markets are closed. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's take a look at your roads. The WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Few things popped up. 4194 north at County C. Expect lane closures because of a disabled vehicle. One more thing in Racine County, a disabled vehicle on the exit to County G from 4194. Looks like there is a patrol vehicle trying to help that person. 4194 south at Ryan Road. The right shoulder's blocked because there's another disabled vehicle. And one more thing happening near Mequon. 4145 north from Pilgrim Road. The right shoulder's blocked because of a disabled vehicle. That's about it. Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. A cold weather advisory goes into effect 9 o'clock tonight through noon tomorrow for all of southeastern Wisconsin. Mostly clear, very cold tonight. 6 below zero will be the actual temperature. Wind chill make it feel like it's 25 below zero. Tomorrow, very cold, a high of 10 degrees. Wind chill make it feel like it's 25 below zero again. Wednesday, evening flurries are possible, a high of 14. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 22 degrees. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 24 degrees. In Madison and Green Bay, it's 6 degrees. In Waukesha, it's 5 degrees. Outdoor Unlimited news time 2:34.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 arriving from payroll platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant at home office, 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Tax preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Welcome back. It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan. You may have heard this before, that President Trump loves to take things to court. Well, that may be true because since he began his political career in 2015, the number of media and defamation lawsuits that either involved him or his businesses, as either the plaintiff or the defendant, has quadrupled compared to that of the prior 3 decades. Now, that's according to Axios analysis of public databases. So why is this important, and what does it mean for the future of media outlets? Well, Carrie Flynn is a media reporter for Axios. She runs Axios Media Trends Executive, and she joins me now. Carrie, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
So why is the number of defamation media lawsuits filed by the president an important issue, or is it?
It's incredibly important. It just shows that Trump is willing to use the courts in an attempt to, quote unquote, silence the media. And not to say that when I put together this analysis, many of these lawsuits were dismissed or, they didn't end up really going anywhere. They were withdrawn, perhaps. But the question is just going forward, even if they end up being dismissed or withdrawn, it puts a lot of pressure on media companies. And as you all know, it's not easy to operate a media business these days, right?
Nope.
There's so many financial pressures on these organizations. So having this renewed pressure of having to maybe this doesn't end up going to court, but you still have to deal with a lawsuit when it's filed.
Well, that's why we see ABC settling and CBS settling and giving over the footage, and Meta is settling. Those big companies would seem to have more resources to fight this. Is there an incentive for them to just settle and get out of the way? Are they hoping, and I'm asking you to theorize, are they hoping that will curry them some favor if they just settle and leave it alone?
Yeah, ABC News and Meta that you mentioned, they didn't publicly say why they chose to settle versus take them to court, really. But I had conversations with plenty of legal experts about it who felt that those companies could have won their cases, and that their feeling was the reason they settled is perhaps for ABC News, as they didn't want to go through having to have any of their internal operations and emails exposed as part of the court processes. And perhaps with Meta, as we've seen as of late, Mark Zuckerberg wanting to get close to the Trump administration to, have his policies not be scrutinized, and they're going through a lot of antitrust battles over at the Facebook parent company. So a way to settle is to perhaps, again, to get or earn the favor of Trump.
So what kind of numbers are we talking about? I know you in your piece, and I quoted this before, the number of times that there's been a suit where either Trump or his companies have been the plaintiff or the defendant has quadrupled over the last 3 decades. But how many cases have there been since 2015?
That's a great question. I wish I had that number in front of me at this very moment. I think if I can remember is that before Trump announced his presidency, his presidential bid, so that was back in June 2015, I believe he was involved in 7 lawsuits related to media defamation, and that was for the 3 decades prior. So he wasn't against using the courts. I remember the first case that I highlighted in our analysis was back in 1984, where he sued the Chicago Tribune and the Chicago Tribune's architecture critic for, quote unquote, criticizing one of his building projects in New York City. It was really looking back at that lawsuit. It was, I'll just say it was quite petty. He just the architecture critic said that he thought the building was quite silly, and Trump took it to court. Flash forward 3 decades later, and since, again, announcing his presidential bid, I just pulled it up, that count has jumped to 29. Wow. So we're saying 7 in the course of 30 years. We're saying 29 since 2015. So like I said earlier, he's just using he's more willing to use the courts to, and it's perhaps not as petty as that 1984 case, but he's taking into account when he doesn't agree with what a media company is saying about him, or not even just a media company, an individual, then he's willing to take them to court. One thing I'll highlight is, obviously for this report, we reached out to Trump's team, and Trump's attorney gave us a statement saying, quote unquote, President Donald J. Trump will continue to hold those who traffic in fake news, lies, and smears to account. So again, that's nothing new about the president. Right. What we've just seen and what this data shows is that it's happening more and more.
Is there now? Every case obviously is different, but is there a connection that you guys found that runs throughout all of these, other than
I spoke with. I spoke with some First Amendment experts, and one thing that he just said is Trump is not shy of going to court. Again, where some may see that certain arguments as petty, he is willing to file those documents. One other case that comes before his presidency that really stands in mind with me is, you may remember back in 2013, he sued Bill Maher. And that was because he asked him, Bill Maher, this was back when Trump questioned the verse where former President Obama was born. Show me your birth certificate. And Bill Maher joked that Trump's parents were orangutans, I believe.
Yes, it was
and
orangutan.
Trump decided to sue him, right? So that's really, it's a serious, he decided to make it a serious acquisition. And then what we're seeing now is just, if anyone who, chooses to speak against or report what they believe, what media outlets believe to be truth, he will sue them. One other case you mentioned earlier, we didn't just track Trump as an individual, but we also tracked his businesses. One of those is Trump Media and Technology Group, the parent company of Truth Social. That company has also chosen to sue media companies, including the Washington Post. And as we shared in the article as well, my company, Axios, is also a defendant in that lawsuit. And we stand by that we just reported the truth about the state of the finances of his business. But again, they have taken us to court, and that is still ongoing.
Is this, we talked about the big media companies and why they've chosen to settle rather than fight. For small independent media, is this a warning to those kind of companies that, listen, you either fall in line or we're going to keep you in court till you can't afford it, and then you just fold, and then so in a way they're just quieting the dissent?
There is fear of that, but when I do speak to different media companies and leaders at those media companies, I would say they're not holding back, right? We're continuing to see strong reporting from major media companies like ABC News, we mentioned, CBS, my own company, Axios. And one case that is ongoing is with a local newspaper, the Des Moines Register. And so, again, the people involved in those cases, the companies themselves, are still holding truth to account. But there is the fear I mentioned earlier of it's not easy to go through the process of a lawsuit, even if it ends up being dismissed or withdrawn. So yes, it for sure is a drain of resources. And again, that is not easy during precarious financial times for media companies.
Is this unique to Donald Trump, or have there been other public figures that have used the courts to the degree that he does?
I would say not unique to Donald Trump. And interestingly, some of his friends and allies also operate similarly. I would say the most notable would be Elon Musk. Way back in 2019, I covered a trial he was involved in when you may remember that he called someone a pedophile. Yes. It ended up being that person took him to court. So, not directly what we're saying here, but obviously what we're tracking as well. It wasn't just Trump serving as a plaintiff. He also served as defendant in these. But it shows a willingness where Musk, went to court and he ended up winning. But we're also seeing a lot of conversation there. Even you may remember when Elon gave a certain salute that some said was similar to another, and there was a lot of conversation on Elon's own social platform called X that he should sue the media companies, quote unquote, accusing him of that. We haven't seen that play out to be, but just even that thought that Elon, you should obviously sue those people, and his agreeing to it. Again, we're not seeing anything right now, but we know that he would perhaps be one to do that.
Going forward, as a media reporter, what are you going to be looking for in the next 6 months or 2 years, 3 years?
Well, definitely how these cases play out. Many of the ones we tracked, again, are still ongoing, right? So what comes out during those cases as well, whether or not we end up seeing more settling from media companies who just wish to put these behind them, or we start to see the back and forth. One big case that I'm definitely watching is against the Pulitzer Prize Board. The Pulitzer Prize Board filed a motion to halt the case until after Trump's presidency ends. Okay. So that'll be interesting to see. I don't believe there's been a ruling on that, whether it'll be delayed. And then beyond that, how media companies continue to operate with the Trump administration. Another completely separate issue happened after I wrote this piece, was about the use of the Gulf of Mexico and the Associated Press declining to refer to that area as Gulf of America and instead sticking to using the Gulf of Mexico, and now have been barred from access to the Oval Office and Air Force One. That's incredibly important, not only because the Associated Press is a very reputable, site on its own, and also just a photo service, but it's a wire service that so many local news organizations rely on. So not having them be in the room in these very important places is really detrimental for the press at large.
And it was so unusual. We were talking about that case last week that they explained why, and they did change Denali to Mount McKinley. They refer to it as Mount McKinley now, but they explained that, and it's still not good enough. Well, Carrie, listen, I appreciate your time today, and I'll keep reading your stuff in Axios. So keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Talk soon.
Take care. That's Carrie Flynn. She is the media reporter for Axios. A lot going on, and I figure one of these days I'll probably just get locked up too. All right, let's do this. Then we'll come back and lighten it up. Unless you are an exotic pet owner, then you might be triggered. We'll talk about more after this. Spanning the State.
$1 doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
All you have is one. One chance after an accident. One decision on who to call. One shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContractingWI.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, and there you go. Zero wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? Tri-County Contracting at WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
I believe it's time for me to fly.
Well, before we get out of here, have you ever tried to eat an entire cake? Like a Costco-sized cake? A tuxedo chocolate mousse cake? You would be very ill. Now, imagine if you were a possum. How sick you would be. Well, this is what happened. A woman in Omaha, Nebraska, got an unexpected house guest the other day because she went on her back porch and there was a possum who had just eaten her chocolate cake. And you may be saying, why was her chocolate cake on the porch? Well, she was doing some cooking and she had put a chocolate cake out on the porch because maybe you've done this too. Put something on the patio in the winter because it's so cold it's going to stay frozen or it's going to stay cold and you don't have room in your fridge if you're having a party. Well, that's what she did. And she sent her son out to put her homemade peanut butter balls out on the patio. Or out on the porch. And he came back in. He said he wouldn't go back out because there was a possum on the couch. And, of course, being a mom, she was like, no, he's just being lazy. I don't believe him. She went and checked, and there it was. There was this possum laying on the couch next to what used to be a giant cake. So they tried to get the possum out of there, right? But I guess when you've eaten an entire cake, I wouldn't want to move either. I'd be laying on a couch, and I don't know what you'd do to get me moving. Well, the possum was having none of this, so she called the Humane Society, Animal Control, and she was like, hey, I got a possum here. Obviously ate some cake. She was worried that, like dogs, chocolate tuxedo cake was bad for possums. So she called. They came. They got the possum to the hospital, and they say that it appears that because the cake bandit possum ate the whole cake, that's what saved its life. So they say that the possum is currently being treated for both her recent dietary habits and unrelated lead toxicity, which is not related to the cake, just again. So it appears she was lucky to be caught red-handed, according to the executive director of the Nebraska Wildlife Rehab, because it allowed her to come to our hospital and get diagnosed. So there you go. They're selling T-shirts that say Cake Bandit on them. They say the possum is expected to make a full recovery and will be returned to her natural habitat in a few weeks. That's what my wife used to say after I would eat an entire pizza. Don't worry, he's going to be fine, and we'll release him to his natural habitat once he comes out of the bathroom. All right, we'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock, but Wisconsin's Afternoon News is coming up next. See ya.
Don't count us out. Not
Lillard
yet.
scoops to the hoop, lays it in. The Bucks